Tom woke up to the steady sound of raindrops tapping against his bedroom window. The weather outside was cool, wet, and cloudy, the sky painted in soft shades of grey like a watercolor canvas that had erased the sun. He stretched, rubbed his eyes, and sat up slowly as the drumming rhythm of rain continued. The sound felt calming, like a gentle lullaby that the clouds were singing. Although most children would rather stay inside on rainy days, Tom wasn't like most children. Rainy weather made him curious because everything looked different when covered by rain. Streets shimmered, soil released an earthy smell, trees looked cleaner, and the entire world felt reborn. He moved toward the window and leaned his forehead against the cold glass. Outside, puddles were already forming, and small streams of rainwater ran along the edges of the sidewalk, like tiny rivers flowing with their own purpose and direction. Tom watched the water carry fallen petals, leaves, and little bits of twigs, as though nature itself had decided to clean the world. Even though he knew the forecast predicted rain all day, he felt an unmistakable sense of adventure building inside him. When Tom got ready, he dressed for the weather, choosing clothes perfect for a rainy adventure. He put on his bright yellow raincoat, the one that had deep pockets and shiny buttons. He slipped into long, waterproof pants so he would stay dry even if he splashed in puddles, and he wore thick socks to keep his feet warm. His favorite part was his rain boots, tall blue boots with little silver stars printed on them. Each boot was designed for stomping and splashing in mud, and Tom proudly pulled them on. Finally, he grabbed his red umbrella, which had a transparent section shaped like a window, so he could look up at the falling raindrops without getting wet. Fully dressed and prepared, he felt protected from whatever the rainy weather would bring. He stepped toward the door, took a deep breath, and opened it. The world outside felt completely different, almost magical. Rain still poured from the cloud-filled sky, not too heavy, not too soft, just steady, calming rainfall that created a curtain of water over everything. The cool wind brushed Tom's cheeks gently, and he inhaled deeply, feeling the fresh, earthy scent of rain-soaked grass and wet soil travel into his lungs. The air felt crisp and clean, making each breath feel brand new. He stepped outside, and instantly droplets of rain bounced off his umbrella, making tiny tapping sounds that reminded him of a soft drumbeat. He walked into the yard slowly, feeling mud and wet grass slightly squish under his boots. Every step he took made a satisfying splash, like puddles applauding his arrival. As Tom continued walking, he noticed how the weather changed ordinary things into something extraordinary. The playground on the side of the park, which was usually filled with children laughing and running, was empty. The swings moved slowly on their own because of the gentle wind. The metal slide glistened, raindrops raced down its smooth surface. The park bench looked shinier, and rainwater dripped rhythmically from its wooden planks. A layer of mist hovered above the grass, giving the whole area a mysterious feeling, like the entrance to an unexplored world. Even the trees behaved differently in the rain. Leaves trembled under the persistent tapping of droplets, branches swayed back and forth, and every tiny raindrop gathered and fell in slow motion. Tom had seen this park many times, but on rainy days it felt like a completely new place, like an adventure waiting to happen. He decided to walk toward the puddles. The puddles today were not the small ones he usually jumped over. These puddles were wide and deep, forming large glossy mirrors on the ground. Tom stepped into one gradually, and water splashed softly around him in perfect circles. He felt the cold water rise just a little past the bottom of his rain boots, but the boots protected him well. The splash patterns were fascinating. Every time he stepped into a puddle, wonderful ripple rings expanded and overlapped each other, like circles of adventure reaching outward. Tom watched them move and felt the exciting energy of rain. The raincoat protected his body, his boots protected his feet, and his umbrella shielded him like a portable roof. At one point, Tom noticed something unique. A tiny paper boat floated by, moving with the rainwater flowing down the sidewalk. Someone must have set it in the water earlier. The boat drifted calmly, moving smoothly with the flowing water. Tom followed it, curious where it would go. His boots made soft, squishy sounds as he moved, and every step felt like part of a planned adventure. The paper boat turned around a bend and moved into the park. Tom felt like it wanted to show him something. He continued walking, letting the rain guide him. The weather, although wet and cloudy, didn't feel depressing, it felt exciting. The raincoat hugged him comfortably, and the sound of rain mixing with wind became a soundtrack for his journey. Soon he reached the section of the park where puddles connected like lakes. Some puddles reflected the dark grey sky, others reflected tall branches, and some reflected Tom himself. He stepped into the biggest puddle gently. It wasn't dangerous or deep, just wide and shallow like a small pool. As he stood in the middle, he looked around and realized how amazing rainy days were. The water in the puddles made everything shine. The grass looked greener than ever, and the trees seemed washed clean, standing proudly. Tom stretched his hands outward and spun in a slow circle, feeling the raindrops fall on his umbrella, on his raincoat, and even on his face where the umbrella didn't cover. He let the rain touch him, and instead of feeling cold or uncomfortable, he felt alive. Tom then decided to explore farther into the park. He walked past the sandbox area and toward a cluster of bushes and trees that formed a tiny forest-like section. The smell of wet leaves mixed with the smell of rain created the perfect earthy fragrance. Drops of rain slipped from the leaves and fell in slow motion, landing softly on the ground. The patter of water made a soft rain music. Tom quietly walked deeper into the grove of trees. The rain changed here, it became softer, gentler, because the leaves formed a leafy umbrella overhead. The filtered light through the branches looked green, soft, and magical. The air under the trees was cooler, and Tom felt the temperature difference on his cheeks. His raincoat rustled as he moved between the branches. Then he saw it. A tiny stream had formed from the rainwater gathering in the field and flowing down into the lower part of the park. The stream was shallow, like a little river flowing through the trees. Tom walked along it, careful not to slip on the wet soil. The rain made soft mud patches everywhere, and when Tom stepped on them, the mud left boot-shaped prints behind him. He loved seeing the prints, proof that his adventure was real. He continued following the stream, letting it guide him. Raindrops bounced playfully on the surface of the water, making tiny jumping splashes that looked like dancing droplets. The smell of damp earth became stronger near the stream, and Tom loved every second of his exploration. Tom noticed another unexpected thing. A small green frog hopped near the edge of the stream. The frog was shiny from the rain, looking as though it wore a raincoat of its own. Tom watched as the frog leaped forward and paused, looking at him before making another hop. The frog didn't seem scared, it behaved as if it was leading him somewhere. Tom followed quietly, careful not to make sudden movements that would alarm the frog. The frog led him deeper into the mini forest within the park. The rain softened even more here, becoming a mist-like drizzle. Tom felt tiny droplets settling on his eyelashes and cheeks, but his raincoat kept the rest of his body dry. When he reached the clearing at the end of the narrow tree path, Tom realized he had stumbled upon something amazing. Bushes formed a natural archway, and under that archway was a hidden area he had never seen before. It looked like a secret world that only appeared during rainy days. Leaves glittered with raindrops, patches of moss looked bright green, puddles reflected the canopy of branches overhead, and there was a soft breeze that carried the fresh smell of nature. Tom stood still, admiring the beauty of the secret space. It felt special, untouched, magical. The weather had transformed the ordinary park into a hidden wonderland. Tom stepped forward slowly, exploring every inch of the secret spot. There were small puddles, miniature streams, and soft mud areas that allowed him to leave tracks. He felt like an explorer discovering new land. The air was filled with the light sound of water trickling, splashing, and landing. He breathed deeply, taking in the fresh smell of rainwater mixed with leaves and soil. His clothes, especially his raincoat, protected him, helping him enjoy the wet adventure without discomfort. Tom crouched and touched the water flowing through the tiny stream. It felt cool and refreshing against his fingers. He cupped his hands and watched the water pass through. Every activity, walking, splashing, observing nature, felt exciting in the rain. The weather was not something to avoid, it was something to appreciate. The raincoat wasn't just clothing, it was gear for a quest, and the puddles were not obstacles, they were part of the journey. Tom stayed in the secret clearing for a while, exploring and enjoying the fresh rainy world. Eventually he stood up, feeling ready for more adventure. The rain had slowed into a fine mist, and the world felt peaceful. Tom took one last look at the secret clearing, thankful that the rainy weather had guided him to such a magical place. He followed the tiny stream back toward the main part of the park, boots splashing rhythmically. He walked back feeling lighter, happier, and braver. The rain didn't stop him, the rain led him. For Tom, this was no longer just a rainy day. It was a rainy day adventure. The rain did not slow down. Instead, it grew heavier, landing like tiny silver beads on Tom's colourful raincoat and bouncing off his yellow boots. The air smelled like wet earth and green leaves, fresh and comforting. Thunder rolled far away, soft and gentle, not enough to frighten Tom, only enough to remind him that this day was different, special. Rainwater trickled down the red umbrella Tom held, making a soft patter that matched the rhythm of his footsteps as he walked deeper into the park. He felt brave, curious, and ready for more adventure.